Something I commonly hear when people are resisting starting a diet, they'll say, I want to eat healthy, but I can't afford it. And in today's world, I actually don't think I can blame them. Prices have gone up everywhere. I mean, at the gas pump, at least here in Michigan, we're almost at $4 per gallon. And I'm sure in other parts of the country, it's probably a lot worse. Along with that, the cost of living has gone up dramatically, but a lot of us are not making more money, which means in the long run, we're all equally across the board actually making less money relative to what we were a few years ago. I totally understand the sentiment that eating healthy right now is expensive. That is why I set out to try to find the cheapest foods that you could eat to actually get into a really lean physique. In my research, I found that the ketogenic diet is actually the easiest one to stick to for numerous reasons. The first and foremost reason why the keto diet is so effective, it curbs your appetite. When you're super low carb, your insulin levels become a lot more sensitive, which means it takes less food to trigger to your brain that you're full. And by eliminating some of those elements, it makes it easier to stick to a lower calorie diet without all the nasty side effects of extreme hunger, dizziness, fatigue, and other symptoms that come with more lower calorie diet. So the beauty of the ketogenic diet, you have very high fat, moderate amount of protein, and almost no carbohydrates. By eliminating a third of the food group, it makes it very easy to manage being low calorie throughout the week while still feeling like you're eating an adequate amount of food. Traditionally, I'm really a bacon and eggs kind of guy, but I have found at Costco there is going to be something that is super cheap for the keto diet. It's going to be both the bratwurst and the Italian sausage from Costco. Now, first and foremost, if you want to do this diet, you do have to have a Costco membership. The basic membership currently is $60. It's going to be moving up to $65 in 2025. But even still, I would highly encourage that you do get the Costco membership. I previously did a video showing what the prices look like going from a Costco to a generic Walmart. Now, some people would say that's not fair than comparing Costco to a grocery store, but the point I was really trying to drive home there is the price differences between a place like Walmart and a membership club like Costco, where yes, you do pay the membership fee, but the prices on a lot of the food, especially these sausages right here, in that video I analyzed, per pound, the sausages are almost $2 cheaper at Costco in comparison to Walmart. If you extrapolate that over the span of a year, you're more than making up for the cost of the membership, and that's not including all the other things that you could get at Costco that are completely unrelated from what we're talking about in today's video. What I like to call this is the $40 diet, and here's why. If you've seen any of my previous videos, you know I came up with something called the bacon diet. This is going to be something that is very comparable to that. Italian sausage and the bratwurst, which I've got right here on the table, they've got similar macros that put these in perfect keto macros, around 1.2 to 1. That means that for every gram of protein, you're getting 1.2 grams of fat. That's perfect for keto. And the reason why is because when you have more protein on a ketogenic diet, you can trigger something called gluconeogenesis. This is going to be the procedure that turns proteins into glucose. In doing so, your insulin levels do rise a little bit, which can actually trigger hunger. This is why people that do the carnivore diet and eat lean meats, they actually find themselves getting incredibly hungry. What I'm talking about here is technically carnivore, although I'm not really a carnivore guy anymore. I do think if you're trying to really trim down and lose some weight, the $40 diet is really going to help you get there. Looking at these brats, you get 14 per pack and they're $10. For $40, you're getting a total of 56 sausages. Here's where the math comes in. If you're going for a strict 2,000 calorie approach, which I think is pretty humble and modest, that would put you at 8 sausages per day. That exactly lands you at 56 at the end of the week. It's so easy to follow. You wouldn't even need to use a calorie tracker like MyFitnessPal to do a strategy like this. It's going to be that simple. You just simply have 8 of these sausages, and at the end of the day, you're at 2,000 calories on the dot. There might be a little bit of variance, maybe one sausage a little heavier than the one next to it, but over the long span of time, 2,000 calories is going to be your average intake as long as you're not eating anything else. Now, I don't want to say that this is a lifestyle diet, but this is something that can get you started on the weight loss train so that you can start losing weight even on a budget as tight as $40 per week. This is going to free you up to apply that money somewhere more important. Right now, a lot of people are struggling for cash, and anywhere that you can save money and and pull back, it's going to be a good thing. It's going to allow you to reallocate your resources into something more productive. By pulling money away from food, you're going to free up a lot of your income and capital throughout the week that can help you get out of different situations, not even related to dieting. So it's going to be a win-win in multiple different categories. Not only is this diet going to be super effective, it's almost identical to my bacon diet. We're just substituting bacon for sausage. What's really incredible about these is just like bacon, it comes preloaded with salt and potassium. That means it's going to be maintaining your electrolytes perfectly. Let's take a look at this. Each sausage has 670 milligrams of sodium. Now potassium is around 410. If you've been watching my channel, you guys know I'm all about my electrolyte ratios. I like to go for 2 grams of salt for every gram of potassium. So that means a 2-to-1 ratio salt to potassium is going to be amazing for electrolytes. These are almost there. They're not perfect, but the sodium is higher than the potassium by about 1.5. I'm very happy with that. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is going to be good enough to make sure that your electrolytes are peaking throughout the day. It's going to really help you be in a good range. Now, if you take 670 and multiply that by 8, you're going to land somewhere between 5 and 6 grams of salt at the end of the day. I think that's incredible. I always tell people you want to shoot for about 6 grams of salt per day when you're on the ketogenic diet. As for the potassium, you'll be clocking out close to 3 grams, which is really good. The healthy range is up to 4.7 grams of potassium. You won't even come close to that on the $40 diet. When you have good electrolyte balance, everything else in your day gets a lot easier. If you struggle with brain fog, if you've got headaches, if you find yourself lethargic or fatigued, a lot of the times that means that you've got an electrolyte problem. If you address those problems, all the other aspects of your life, they're going to improve because you're not going to be hindered so much. I'll give you a really good example. If you ever have trouble maintaining eye contact with someone, it may not be a self-esteem or an insecurity issue. It actually could be an electrolyte imbalance. You see, when your electrolytes are out of whack, your cortisol increases and your body wants to be in homeostasis, but it currently isn't. So it's going to have you retract and kind of hide away. So if you find yourself not wanting to be social, it actually can be an electrolyte problem. If you take care of your electrolytes, your cortisol goes back to normal. So your body's no longer in that self-defense mode. You're going to be able to be more engaged in whatever it is that you're working on, whether you're in a team or if you're having a one-on-one conversation. You're going to find yourself more present because your body is at equilibrium. It's going to be in homeostasis. I don't hear a lot of content creators talking about this kind of stuff. I think it is such a game changer that I could scream about it at the top of the mountain. Electrolytes are that important to me. Of course, if you do want to make your own electrolytes, I'm going to put a blurb down at the bottom here. If you're watching this on a cell phone, now would be a great time to take the screenshot. Down here, you're going to see per 1 liter of water, I want you guys to have a gram of salt. That's going to be 2 scoops from a 1/4 teaspoon. Then you want to have 500 milligrams of potassium. That's going to be a single scoop from a 1/4 teaspoon. And then to top it off for good measure, I'd like you guys to have 300 milligrams of magnesium malate. You only need to put about maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon to get to that 300 grams. And the nice thing about magnesium is you don't actually pee it out quite like you do with salt and potassium. So you would really only need to do the magnesium once or twice per day in a liter of water. Let's say you were having 4 or 5 liters of water. You maybe do it in the morning when you wake up and then magnesium again at night. The waters that you have throughout the day would be no problem. You wouldn't have to do it then. Of course, this only really applies if you're not doing the $40 diet, if you're not doing the bacon. Let's say you're on ground beef. Ground beef is naturally not salted, so you're going to really want to supplement electrolytes when you're doing a ketogenic diet on things like ground beef or ribeye steaks or salmon. This is going to have that pre-built. I do still think it's a good idea to at least have some salt water nearby. That way you're always tip-top shape. You don't always have to put it into every water that you drink. Regardless, I still do think if you're going to be doing this kind of approach, you want to be having between 3 and 5 liters of water per day. It's really going to depend on your activity level. If you're sedentary, if you don't move around much, 3 liters is good, especially if it's winter time, it's cold out, you're not really that warm in general. 3 is good. If you're in a hot climate, maybe you're in Texas or Arizona, maybe you're somewhere even hotter than that, If you're sweating more often, if you're outdoors and it's hot, you want to bump that up, especially if you're doing exercise. It's not a bad idea to get your water intake, maybe even to 5 or 6 liters of water, depending on heat and activity level. This will make sure that you're feeling good at all times. Just try it and you guys will see what I'm talking about. Being well hydrated with good electrolyte balance is such a game changer. And this is gonna make it so easy to stick to that. It's a $40 plan. 7 days a week, you have 8 sausages. Get yourself into ketosis. I know there's not a lot of variety on this plan, but look, if you're on a tight budget and things are tough, you should probably be grinding it out anyways. There's gonna be seasons of your life where you can relax and mix things up, but if you're trying to get a goal done, it's time to get it together. You don't need to have a lot of variety. Sometimes your diet doesn't have to be that pleasurable. This is effective, it's sustainable, and you're gonna feel good on it. The variety element, you're gonna have to tough it out and live without it for a little while. You run a program like this for maybe 10 to 12 weeks, you can shed off about 30 to 40 pounds of fat. For a lot of people, that's gonna get them into a leaner weight where then you can start to diversify your diet a little bit. Of course, you could maintain this as long as you want. If you're on a tight budget, I really do highly recommend you get these. This might possibly be the cheapest way to do keto. It's gonna be even cheaper than my bacon diet, which usually is bacon $4 a pound. Here you're getting 3.5 pounds for 10. It's unbeatable. I highly recommend this. I hope you guys are enjoying this content. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of the $40 diet? What kind of stuff would you like to see next? And I'll do my best to cover those topics for you. As always, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. I've got new videos coming out twice a week. I got a Monday video like this one and a shorter video through the midweek, which will come out when I have time to film it. And of course, I always do Q&A every Sunday on a live stream at 11 a.m. Eastern time. If you've got problems, whether it's with fitness, weight training, diet, I got you covered. Hop into my live stream and we'll work it out. One final thing, I do offer one-on-one coaching. If that's something that interests you, you can get in contact with me either through my Linktree links below, or you can join my private Discord, send me a direct message on there, and we'll get you started on a program and get you losing that weight. With that, guys, I've been Andrew Fillion. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.